My fellow Americans, this is the most important day, the most consequential rulings from the highest court in our land, the Supreme Court of the United States, just took place today. And they just shot down our President Trump, duly elected leader, representative of the people's executive order for birthright citizenship. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what they did, what the ruling means, who dissented, who was for it, as well as what can happen now. I've also got reactions, and I'm going to read for you also the original senator who wrote the 14th Amendment, and we're going to look very closely to the vernacular, the phrasing, the actual language of it, and a whole lot more. I'm going to give away all my notes for free. We did get a few wins today, but this decision to me is the most consequential to the future of our country. And ironically, paradoxically, no less, right on the heels of America's 250th birthday, if you can believe it. But I think there may be a little ray of hope, and especially when you see what President Trump said in response. So I don't want you to feel deflated. This is not a depressing video. I truly believe this will uplift you, explain everything. Knowledge is power. And let's jump right into it. So the Supreme Court has ruled 6-3. Justice Chief Roberts and Amy Coney Trader Barrett have joined the liberal justices. Brett Kavanaugh originally dissented, but in favor of the entire outcome. I'll explain that in just a second. Overruling President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship to illegal aliens. Justice Alito was fuming over SCOTUS giving the green light to birthright citizenship, saying, quote, "In my judgment, the court has made a mistake that will seriously affect the country's future. Suppose that a person's only connection to this country is that he was born here to a mother who was present just long enough to give birth and then quickly return her native country. Suppose that country is a strategic adversary or enemy of the United States. Suppose the child never visited the United States while grown and was inculcated with hatred of this country. According to this court, now that person is a citizen of the United States. He can enter and leave the country as he pleases. He can travel the world on a United States passport. Even if he plots to harm this country, he cannot be deprived of his status as a citizen, at least under current precedent." Again, that's Justice Samuel Alito in his dissent. The great Justice Clarence Thomas also slammed the Supreme Court for this decision to strike down President Trump's birthright citizenship executive order. Thomas writes that the 14th Amendment, quote, "was enacted in the wake of the Civil War with the one pervading purpose of securing equal citizenship for the freed slaves." He goes on to say that the court, meaning the majority now, has repurposed the 14th Amendment to protect its own set of preferred rights that the Reconstruction Congress never contemplated. And that cannot find support in the text today. So I have broken down exactly what this means, what can happen. I'll also go through President Trump's response. He just posted it literally minutes ago as of this recording on June 30th in the year of our Lord 2026. As I always do, I will give away all my notes for free. If you want a copy of these notes in full transparency, I've done my due diligence so you don't have to. I've done my research so you don't have to. That's why you're here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. You can do that by clicking on the link in the pinned comment or in the description down below, and you can get all of this for free. Everything that I'm showing you right now is yours for free. So, on June 30th, 2026, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 in the Trump versus Barbara to strike down President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to undocumented or temporarily present parents. The order signed on Trump's first day back in office in January of 2025 never took effect. And now, after running through the federal courts, it has been struck down at the highest level. Majority opinion written by Chief Justice John Roberts, joined by Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, Barrett, and Jackson. No surprise on the liberal judges. I wonder, are you really surprised about Amy? I think Amy Coney Barrett, whatever the hell her name is, ACB, is probably the biggest mistake. I hate attributing any mistakes to President Trump, but I think it's the biggest mistake that President Trump has ever made in his political career. She has turned out to be a Trojan horse, a liberal Trojan horse, and it is just scary to me. Let me know if you agree with that or disagree. It's hard to remain objective here because this is my country, folks. I bleed red, white, and blue like you know I do, and this affects the very foundation, the fundamental Constitution, in more ways than one, of the future of the greatest nation God has ever conceived. Justice Kavanaugh agreed that the order was unlawful, but on different grounds. He found it violated federal immigration law rather than the Constitution itself, and explicitly noted that Congress would legislate exceptions to birthright citizenship through statute if it chose to. Thomas, Alito, and Gorsuch dissented. The bottom line, a baby born on U.S. soil today, regardless of the parent's immigration status, is a U.S. citizen at birth, just as it has been since 1898. I'm not going to go through all of the argumentation here and the semantics because this could take forever. Again, if you want a free copy of this, you can get this. I'm going to kind of skim through the sort of core points. The core separation of powers question is, can a president redefine a constitutional clause by executive order when the Supreme Court already settled its meaning over a century ago? 6 justices said no. So what does this mean in practice? Nothing changes for families today. A U.S. birth certificate remains sufficient proof of citizenship. Had the order taken effect, the Migration Policy Institute and Penn State's Population Research Institute estimated roughly 250,000 babies born each year would have lost automatic citizenship. Now, that sounds harsh at face value, but when you look at birth tourism and what foreign adversaries like the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, as well as many others are doing, essentially turning birthright citizenship into a nefarious business without any intent of assimilation, without any intent for pledging their sovereignty and allegiance to the United States, but simply for taking advantage of this, creating a loophole that gives them advantage over us. It doesn't seem as harsh. Federal agencies had already prepared a system to verify parents' immigration status before issuing newborns a social security number, passport, or other proof of citizenship, meaning a birth certificate alone would no longer have been enough. This is the second major Trump initiative the Supreme Court has struck down following its February ruling against his sweeping tariffs. For context, not every country works this way. This is really, really important. The U.S. follows jus soli, citizenship by birthplace. Countries like Germany and the U.K. lean more heavily on jus sanguinis, citizenship by descent. That difference is exactly why this debate exists in America and not in most of Europe. Why so many of us, including yours truly, is disagreeing with this is because arguing unconditional birthright citizenship creates an incentive for illegal immigration. So I'm going to kind of skim this because just for brevity's sake, but again, you can dive deeper into my full notes by downloading them. And I just talked about birth tourism, the national security concern. Critics argue this isn't about immigration. It's about the possibility that nationals of strategic rival nations could use this as a long-term foothold. It's essentially just giving them carte blanche to take advantage of us. There is real documented industry of U.S.-based agencies that have marketed birth tourism packages directly to wealthy foreign nationals. This is crazy. Justices Thomas, Alito, and Gorsuch's dissents reflect a long-standing originalist position, not a fringe one, that the 14th Amendment authors had formerly enslaved Americans specifically in mind, not a permanent universal rule applying to every nation on earth indefinitely. And I'll cover that in great detail. Before I get to what can actually be done from here, I want to talk about President Trump's response because it's correlative to that. So the first thing he commented on was the Supreme Court just took restrictions off political spending. A few wins, a big win for Republicans and more importantly for the First Amendment. And then this one's absolutely huge, which is getting kind of overshadowed and eclipsed by this birthright citizenship, is that the Supreme Court ruled against men playing in women's sports. That takes that ridiculous situation off the table. President Donald J. Trump. Now, it's true for about 25, 27 states, But this is still something that a lot of other states, about 25 or more, still have not implemented. But this is a huge win nonetheless for something that seems very common sense. Why do we have women's sports? If you can allow men to play women's sports, deranged lunatics who identify as male, then there should be no such thing, no existence called women's sports. Am I wrong or am I right? Let me know in the comments down below. And then President Trump commenting on the big one here just moments ago, literally, the Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship, which is too bad for our country, he states. But we can easily make it up in Congress through legislation. With the support of the president that he has now been determined during this process, no long and unwieldy constitutional amendment is necessary. Congress should start today to work on ending expensive and unfair to our country birthright citizenship. They will have my complete and total support. So, compounding on what the president just said, let's go back to my notes, which directly attribute and discuss this point. So, this ruling is not necessarily the end of the conversation. There are real legal paths forward. I told you there'd be a little illumination. Kavanaugh's opinion specifically noted that Congress has the power to pass statutes creating exceptions, so long as those exceptions are consistent with the 14th Amendment. That would likely still trigger a fresh court challenge, but it's a legitimate avenue that doesn't require touching the Constitution itself. So my idol, my hero, as far as Supreme Court justices go, Antonin Scalia, used to touch on this point many, many times, innumerable times, saying that you can get mad at the Supreme Court, but you got to understand, we are simply there to enforce the law. We are there to follow the law. We do not make policy. We do not compose legislation. That is up to the other branch, the legislative branch. Lawmakers, policymakers. If you don't like it, vote. If you don't like it, take action. Galvanize a movement. Scalia has said this time and time again, and I echo those words consistently. A constitutional amendment is the only path that would change the citizenship clause directly. Congress could pursue, again, I'm kind of skimming just for brevity's sake, Congress could pursue narrower reform focused specifically on birth tourism without touching the broad constitutional question at all. For example, this is important, tightening visa fraud enforcement, increasing scrutiny on medical and tourist visas tied to pregnancy, or improving data sharing between hospitals, USCIS, and consular officials. This by far is the most legally realistic and lowest risk option on the table right now. A future Supreme Court could revisit this because this was a 6-3 decision with 3 sitting justices dissenting on serious constitutional grounds. A future court with a different composition could, in theory, revisit the question down the line. Though overturning over a century of settled precedent is something the court is historically very reluctant to do. So this needs to take place to really kind of support the president's point earlier. It has to happen through legislation. So what's the key takeaway? The Supreme Court has reaffirmed that birthright citizenship is the law of the land, just as it has been since 1898. But the fight isn't necessarily over. It just moved out of the courtroom. The next real battleground is Congress. Now, here's what I want to end this with. The picture that you see on the screen right now. This is the senator who originally composed the 14th Amendment in 1866. This right here is Senator Jacob Howard. He stood on the floor of the United States Senate and said himself, this is really, really important, because the argument is that birthright citizenship includes everyone, but that's not what the original framers, that's not what the original clause intended whatsoever. The amendment would not include, he stated specifically, persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens. The 14th Amendment was written for one purpose, to grant citizenship to freed slaves after the Civil War. That was the whole point. Nobody in that Senate chamber was talking about people sneaking across a border a century later and having a baby. Yet here we are. A clause written to correct the injustice of slavery has been twisted into a loophole that hands out citizenship like candy to anyone whose mother can make it to American soil in time. Trump is not attacking the Constitution. He is demanding we read it the way its author actually wrote it. The man who wrote the law agreed with Trump. That, ladies and gentlemen, should settle it. The highlighted portion of what Senator Frey composed, this will not. So every person born within the limits of the United States, this is directly from the clause, the original clause, and subject to their jurisdiction is by virtue of natural law and natural law a citizen of the United States. This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers, a credit to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of persons. I want to close with this brilliant post by Mays Moore on X. I highly recommend everybody go follow this account. It's fantastic. The Democrat Party supports birthright citizenship, open borders, no deportations, health care for illegal immigrants, sanctuary cities, and I would even take out socialism. It's straight up communism. The country is done, ladies and gentlemen, if they get back into power. Truer words were never spoken. Help make this video go viral. Educate our amazing citizens of this country. You can help by tapping the thumbs up, sharing this everywhere. If you want a copy of our notes, the link is down below. I can't wait to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Do you think that the Supreme Court of the United States betrayed America today? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments down below. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It doesn't cost you a thing. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless America and all who defend her. Get our brand new America 250 merch down below. Love you.